baseline. I'ma shoot my shot, I'ma make mine. Sideline the baseline. You know we stay on our grind. Sideline the baseline. I'ma shoot my shot, I'ma make mine. Sideline the baseline. You know we stay on our grind. Sideline the baseline. I'ma take it back from the goal line. Sports on. He say hut, then I go long. Scoring all them touchdowns.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sideline to Baseline with your boy MB and K. Lou. Man, we gotta listen. When I tell you we gotta cast a character, you gonna hear it. This ain't even this thing. The show started. The show is starting at 6 o'clock, but it started about four days ago, man. And these guys been unscripted, uncut. We listen. We don't know what they're gonna say tonight. Please, guys, keep it clean. We'll got kids that love to see Uncle K. Lou and Uncle MB. Man, please look out for us. Don't get us put off the hat already.
Go to bed. Send the kids to bed right now. Women and children, y'all just flee. Go shopping.
Listen, we got a cast of All-Americans, Hall of Famers, all pros, Pro Bowlers, you name it, we got them here, man. Listen, we got Tom Jones, Coach Tony Weiss, Don Bailey, Tony Fitzpatrick, Matt Pashman, Greg Rakowski, Leon Big Lee, Godzilla, Cersei, Dr. Claude Jones, Kelvin Harris, KC Jones, Brett Romberg, Joe Quinn, Gonzalez,
that freaking guy Joe
Quinn.
Yeah.
Brian Kitty, and Chris Myers. Man, when you talk about a group of guys, oh man, look at Chris already, man. Listen, let's get this show over with. Let's hurry up. MB, I'm getting it to you. We gonna fast forward this thing and get off the air real quick.
No, man. No, baby. Hey, this is the O-line, baby. All hands on deck. Hey, arguably the O-line position on the football team, all right, is overworked and underappreciated, right? They don't get in the spotlights. Obviously, they get in the negative. If they give up a sack, then they get talked about, right? So we're going to take our time and walk through this, baby, and show them some love, baby.
Hey, look, ain't no
of the hour, Arthur Francis Joseph Kehoe the fourth.
The third.
The third. My main man. All right.
Call me the turd.
Call you the turd, baby. It's all about you, man. I mean, Kehoe, hey, when I made this call and called everybody, man, they stopped what they were doing. Hey, they was like, we're here. I mean, you are the man. If as an O-line, the importance of playing as one body, I mean, arguably K. Lou, and you'll know being linebacker and being on the football team, I don't care what team you are, the O-line, if you had to pick one group that's tight-knit, it's going to be the offensive lineman.
Yeah, definitely.
Every team is the same, and if they're one body, man, if they're the hands and feet, I know I can't say arms because Brent, his arms are a little too short, but never mind.
Dang, we started out like that. Okay. Shots fired.
We sure arms fired. So, but one thing, if they represent the body, then Arthur Kehoe represent the heart. This dude, man, brings it all the time, right? He is the heartbeat, right, of the unit.
Here.
Yep. He is the pillar, right? And all due respect, we give credit. The Bible says, give honor where honor is due, right? And Howard Snellenberg, Jimmy Johnson, Coach Erickson, all right, Larry Coker, Bush, all those guys, right? Rightfully so, right? But behind them, man, is some no-limit soldiers, baby, the glue, the pillars that's holding them up. And Arthur Kehoe is that guy. He's a pillar of the University of Miami. He's one of the lifelines of University of Miami.
Look at that face.
Hey.
Art, give us
look
that
at face, right? Hey, Blake James, Manny Diaz, right now, they need to be calling this guy as ambassador for UM. They need to create a position for him, put his little statue, bald head statue up there in front of UM, right? Yeah. Because this is the dude. This is the guy, man. He's a father. He's got a 16-year-old son, Jake. He coached a total for 40 years, 32 of those years at University of Miami. He bleeds orange and green. He played at University of Miami. He was a captain. He's the only coach in University of Miami history to be involved with 5 national championships. Well, all 5 he got them. All 5 he got them, right? Under his tutelage, 12 All-Americans, all right? Remington, Outlet, Lombardi, all those trophies, just check. Even, right? Even academic Heisman, right? Joaquin Gomez de Llama Gonzalez, right? Art Kehoe has his DNA, footprint, handprint, all of that, all over this, man. And so, baby, we want to show you some love, man, because you deserve some love, because you give love. I thought about this, so I thought about the format of the day, man. Since we got a special guest, Art Kehoe, right? I want to say Francis every time. So every time. So because of you, man, we want to change things up, man. I want to do like a roast. We want to start off roast, but we don't roast in South Florida, right? We barbecue. So we use the term barbecue and mildew, right? So either the guests either going to barbecue and roast your butt, right? Talk about that shiny head, or they're going to mildew and just tell any funny stories they have about Arthur Francis Kehoe, so people can really get to know you, man, because you are definitely the people's choice. So I'm going to go first, all right? I'm going to go first. I'm going to go mildew route, though. I'm going to give you a respect. I'm going to be Don King, baby. I'm pumping you up like Ali versus Frazier, baby. We getting this thing going, right? So I took your last name, and I wanted to make an acronym of that. So I go for the K, represent a king-size heart, man, to match a king-size head, right? Coach, you love with your whole heart, man. You're so passionate, man. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And every person you have coached and been around, all right, have felt the love from you, man. All right, you put your heart into it, man. You put your heart into everything you do. The E is for energetic. You like the Energizer Bunny Rabbit, man. You bring the juice every day. You have your hillbilly hat on, man. It's out, and you like, whoa, what time it is? Let's go. Mike Barrow, we about to smash you guys when we go 907. You talking noise, man. You bring the juice all the time. Energy, man, 110%. The H is for hilarious. You are a king of comedy. You are hilarious. If anybody sit in your meeting room or the stretch line or just around you, man, you are nonstop cracking jokes, telling dudes about themselves. Man, you are just, you enjoy life, man. You are hilarious. The O is for outspoken. A player does not have to worry about where they stand with you. You're gonna tell them exactly where they stand. You're gonna speak what's on your heart. You're gonna only say it the way you can say it, right? And so they know, and that's, as a player, that's what we want to know, because the hardest problem in the world to fix is when you don't recognize there's a problem. And you ain't got no problem to say, hey, Joaquin, you're looking fat. I think Shreko, he was hurt one time, and he said, you told him to lift up his shirt. Told him, lift up your shirt. Hey, man, that belly looking big. You hold dudes accountable, man. You don't sugarcoat anything. You tell them like it is so they can fix the problem. The last E is empowering, right? And initially I thought about expert because you're an expert offensive line coach. But the thing I like about you, you empower. And what I mean, you empower. You give these dudes the tools to be successful on and off the field, man. You empower dudes. When dudes around you, man, they feel energetic. They feel the love. All right, man. So that's my take on who Arthur Francis Kehoe is to me. So right now, hey, guys, in your own words, right? You know the deal, barbecue or mildew. Hey, Joaquin Gomez de Llama Gonzalez. What you got to say about your boy Arthur Francis Kehoe, baby?
Hey, man, I'll tell you on a serious note, before I get into the junk I got for Coach Key, is growing up in South Florida, he's a larger-than-life legend down here. So playing high school football down here, I always wanted to play at the U. But part of that meant that I wanted to be coached by this man, and I wanted to earn his respect. So once I got there and earned his respect, that was kind of like a notch in my belt. But I will tell you just a quick funny story about Coach Kehoe, which kept on like just reminiscing here, talking about Coach Key. We're playing Florida State in the Orange Bowl.
Hold on, is somebody eating right now? Who's got fucking sleep apnea right now? Is there somebody breathing super hard? Like, who? Do you hear the same noise that I'm hearing? Who has goddamn sleep apnea right now? To be
I
honest,
thought it was a dinosaur.
Kelvin Harris. That's Kelvin Harris.
What's going on right now?
It's Kelvin Harris.
Nasty.
What is Sweet
Nasty.
doing?
Hey man, we're playing Florida State in the OB, and I think it's 99 or 2000 when we finally beat them. And we're back and forth at the beginning of the game, and we're gaining like 3-4 yards punting. They come out, they gain like 3-4 yards punting, and we come off to the sideline, and Coach Kehoe's just chomping on his freaking gum, just chomping away at his gum. And he looks at the offensive line and he's like, "What can we run? What can we run?" And without a heart, we all just turn to him and go, 336. Naked left.
Yeah, give us the naked. Give us
Yeah,
the naked.
give us the naked. And he grabs on the mic and he's about to say it. And he takes it back off. He goes, "Are you fucking kidding me? You want to run naked? You want to run?
Bootleg. Get out.
You want to run naked?" Sure shit. We ran naked. We got like 30 yards. So that's Coach Key right there. I always want to hit a motherfucker in the mouth.
I thought we were supposed to keep this thing PG.
Sorry.
This is
I get
supposed
excited.
to be PG. We're all getting all worked up, sweating profusely already.
I get excited. But that's Coach Key for you right there.
Nice. Hey, Brent, go ahead, man. Jump in, man. Hey, barbecue the mildew. What you got on?
I'm all barbecue. I like to build people up in order to break them down. So I'm going to start off with building him up, right? I'll tell a little story about how me coming from Canada, how this thing ended up going down. I ended up working out at some indoor facility up in Canada. We don't have athletic scholarships in Canada, first of all. It's like you're either going academic or you ain't going. And Arthur Francis Joseph Kehoe III ended up jumping across the border. He's a border jumper. And he came across the border and he came to this individual workout that I had. And all of a sudden, I just kept hearing like Miami. Every time somebody would walk by me, but I would be looking at a certain height level where I couldn't see him. You know what I mean? We all know what's going on. I'm trying to look across and I'm trying to figure out where's this noise coming from, this Miami. And then show snuff, you fast forward about 45 minutes after I do my drills. And this dude kind of walks by and he looks at me and he goes, "Hey." And I kind of turn, I looked at him, he goes, "Miami." And I said, "Oh shit." I was like, "Oh, okay, Miami." First of all, I didn't even know what Miami was. I didn't know where it was. I didn't know what was going on in Miami. And then that was my first experience with AFK. That was my first experience. But then we all basically grew together. When I arrived at the University of Miami, it was just after they ended up going 5-6. Joaquin and that class ended up going 5-6. And that was the beginning of the turnaround for our generation of the University of Miami, what people still to this day consider the greatest college football team ever assembled. I don't care, Leon, whatever goddamn team you were on. I'm going to go ahead and say our 2000, 2001, 2002. The debate can go on forever and a day. But yes, that team is the greatest college football team ever assembled. And it started there, January, after a 5-6 season, when AFK, when Ed Reed, when Joaquin Gonzalez, when Brett Romberg, when our recruits, when Chris Myers showed up, that's when we became something. That's when Al Blades became something and somebody that wasn't going to put up with anything less. And then you had a guy like AFK. AFK is sitting in a meeting room. First of all, he used to wear the tightest little shorts, like worse than Butch Davis. Butch Davis used to have his twig and berries divided up that you could see him sitting on a stool like it was from far away. But AFK, you didn't know if it was his barrel or it was his junk that was hanging out between the bottom of his short. And we used to sit there in these meeting rooms, and Kehoe was one of the most gnarliest, chewing, rad,
the 72 ounce.
Oh my God, he used to bring in from Circle K because that cheap SOB used to go ahead and buy that 1.99 drink, and he used to bring it and get it refilled all the damn time. And he used to come and sit in this meeting just slurping away. And we used to sit there and watch film. Aside from wrecking each other, that's one of the twisted things about this that people are going to witness tonight is the fact that the offensive line mind is like no other in the world. It really isn't. People we really would be going to psychiatrists on a regular basis if they realized the stuff that we ended up talking about or feeling about each other or saying to each other. If there was an HR department in the offensive line room, that person would be gone, absolutely gone immediately. There wouldn't be an O-line, first of all, on a football team. So imagine trying to orchestrate these lunatics, this mindset of absolute crazy and insanity. And then, mind you, the guy that's at the helm is Arthur Francis Joseph Kehoe III, who would just as easily jump into every single freaking conversation Every song that was made about somebody's sister or girlfriend, some like wrap around dissing somebody's mama. Like Kehoe was not afraid to be part of everything. And I think that's what was the giant difference maker at the University of Miami. I know for a fact, and I've had this discussion on so many different levels with all the other guys that are in the NFL. Mike, I'm sure you probably had him in your locker room, and just like everybody else on this panel has had him in their locker room. There is no other brotherhood or place like the University of Miami. There's the, I'm going to go to school for 3 or 4 years. I'm going to go ahead and dip. I'm going to do my thing. I'll play in the league. I'll come back, and that's it. There's no camaraderie. There's no cohesion. There's no fam. The whole black and white thing that we're going through right now in this country, I don't want to make it political either. That did not freaking exist, man. It was team on 3. It was one common goal, and that's what you need to do in order to make success, right? And that's why we were so successful at what we did. Family, friendship, kicking it together on campus, off campus. And to this day, man, I don't think there was a guy that could have managed a bunch of lunatics, my generation, previous generations, and the future generations, any better than Arthur Francis, man. Like there isn't anybody. They used to bust his balls all the time because I used to take my pants off and sit there bare ass in the front of the room. Sherko had his junk out. McKinney was sitting next to Sherko, couldn't believe what the hell was going on. Big Mac was coming from Jersey. He's coming up in penny loafers and a damn polo. Yes, I'm talking about you, Brian McKinney, showing up in tight-ass jeans, penny loafers and a polo, worrying about what the hell Sherko's got going on beside him, pulling his deal out. Like, this was like unprecedented. You want to talk about unprecedented times? University of Miami offensive line room from 99 until 2003 was unprecedented time. You cannot be a normal human being going in and coming out. It was just different. It was a total different landscape, and there's nobody better. That's why there's a reason when you make one phone call and 75 people are responding, when, where, I'll be there. And that's because of AFK, man. It really is. There's nobody else that you could, at a drop of a hat, make one question, one request, and then everybody wants to line up to go ahead and talk about this man.
Larger than life at 5'1".
I'm telling you, quickest way to the quarterback. I'm telling you,
love it. You're right.
No, well said, Rumble. Hey, Godzilla, Leon Cersei, aka Godzilla. Hey, what you got to say about Arthur Francis Kehoe?
Hey, before I get to talk about Coach Kehoe, I want to say Calvin Harris looked like he's in a psych ward. Claude Jones has on from Mars jeans. When you're saying that, listen. Listen, Coach Kehoe used to come in the weight room, right, with his junior varsity shorts on, wrestling shorts on, and used to go. And if we struggle with any kind of weight, he'll come up right behind us and pull up, roll up his sleeves and get down and clean and jerk and say, "Oh, you soft, you can't get that, you can't get that." Or if we bench pressing. We bench press where we bench presses, and we struggle with it. Coach Kehoe roll up his sleeve, sit on the mat, and throw it up and say, "You soft, you can't play at the University of Miami." I'm like, "Damn, Coach!" But he kept it on us. He stayed on me, especially in my senior year. My senior year, I broke my thumb my senior year, and I was a little distressed. I was playing with a cat, and Coach Kehoe came up to me and said, "You ain't gonna go pro playing like that." I was like, "What? You're not gonna go pro player?" Because I was a little tentative with the cast on my thumb or whatever, and I wasn't blocking. I was blocking, and Coach Kehoe just stayed on you, man. I appreciated it because, he kept me honest. I was an All-American going in my senior year. He kept me honest. He never slacked on me. He stayed on me, to the very end. I remember the one time he damn near jacked me up my junior year after the Cotton Bowl, rolled up on me and said, "What's it I hear about you coming out early?" I said, "Coach, what you talking about coming out early?" "I heard there's rumors you come out." I was going to get my schedule for spring. It was right after Cotton Bowl. He was talking about I'm coming out early. I said, "I'm not coming out early, but I'm glad to know that I could come out early. Thank you for that information." But he jacked me up in the academic office. "You ain't going out early." I said, "Coach, I'm coming back for my senior year. Of course I'm coming back for my senior year." But Coach Kehoe, I appreciate him because he stayed on my ass. It didn't matter if I was an All-American or I was a scout team player. He made sure he got the best out of it. Now, for Calvin Harris, Calvin is probably the 50th greatest center of all time. I can't help what he did with him. And Claude,
it's only 49 centers.
And Claude, he played with a straitjacket the most of the time in the game. So I'm not sure if he got anything out of them. I say this today. Playing with Claude and Calvin Harris cost me in the draft. I should have been stopped.
Hey, Claude, hey, is there a doctor in the house? Hey, Claude, man, jump in there, man. Defend yourself, man. What you got to say, man? Barbecue the mildew, man.
Hey, Claude, Bruno Mars wants his jeans back.
Okay. First of all, let me say that Cersei thumb wasn't broke. He was too busy sucking it at halftime. Okay, that's number one.
I had to hold Claude's hand in 1991. He was my roommate in 1991 when we played Florida State, and I had to hold his hand walking to the stadium because he was scared of me.
Leon, you should call him Dr. Jones.
Yes,
right,
Dr. Jones with the boy band jeans on.
Okay, so you didn't tell him about the night you tried to climb in bed with me before Florida State. You didn't tell him that.
Oh, God.
Whoa. That's a whole other podcast, ain't it?
Hold me, Claude, hold me.
Go give him your cornbread, Claude.
Let him finish.
Okay, that's number one. Okay, number two, Kelvin Harris is one of the ugliest subterranean human beings I've ever seen in my life. That's number two.
All right.
But yeah,
Hey, can somebody help out Mr. Harris with his camera angle? Somebody needs to help him out because I'm tired.
Thank you, because I've been looking at that
What
all
is
day.
going
You
on?
can't see. Kelvin, how many fingers I got up? You can't see.
All I see is eyebrows.
Claude, do you have your speaking spell in front of you before you talk?
Come on, Claude. Come on,
Okay,
go ahead.
Dr. Jones.
I'm trying, man. They won't get off. But yeah, man, seriously, man, Coach Kehoe just was great. You know, he turned me into the player I became by my senior year. Really stayed on me. Just wanted me to become the best. So I came up to him after the Notre Dame game. And we sitting there and we're watching film and everything. And I said, he graded the film. You know how you look at your grades. And he goes up, and I look at it and I saw a WTF. Right? So I'm like, Coach, well, what's a WTF? He's like, what the fuck were you doing on that he puts this on the scorecard, right? WTF, right? And so I said, Coach, because we lost the game. It was a close game. I mean, just slugfest. Just 4 quarters, we just slugging it out, right? And I said, Coach, man, come on, man. I couldn't, give me some advice. How can I give it? He said, he puts his hand on my shoulder. He goes, Claude, let me tell you something. You're probably the 300th best guard I ever coached. So they did a little for my confidence for that game, but just over my career, just pushing us, just making us do the extra work, stand after practice with us. I think he really helped me, personally become a man also, because I would go to him for personal advice and things like that. And talk to him about Leon Cersei's sex change, stuff like that. Coach, how can you be able to talk to me? But anyway, but yeah, man, we love you, Coach. We love you, Coach, and thanks for everything. And I haven't seen you in a while, but thanks for pushing me and helping me become a great player. And when people and I said that in the text message, when people ask me what position I played on the whole line, I said all 5. Because I played in between Cersei and Kelvin Harris. So that so that says it all. Love you, Coach.
Hey, Sweet Nasty, man, why don't you jump in? They keep bad. You got to go ahead and get out that child seat, man, and talk, man.
First of all,
he looks like he's medicated. Where are you at right now?
back up, please.
He's sticking out his tongue. What? I mean,
My
what's going
God.
on?
That's a real tongue?
You all right?
First of all,
Hey, man, what
All
happened?
right.
We need to come get you, man. Did they lock you up, man? What happened?
No, man. I'm
What's phone call, man? What's going on?
Coach Kehoe, he still needs you. Go save him.
Go save him.
There's no help for him.
Get him, man.
Damn, you can't talk to Braille. Somebody give him a damn Braille keyboard.
All right, y'all get the jokes in. I mean, we got Rhythmless Nation, the only man to ever tear his shoulder out trying to do the Cabbage Patch. And then we got a living mammal in Leon Searcy, the first mammal to walk on 2 feet, shaving his paws with a chainsaw. Coach Kehoe.
Kevin, whatever psych ward you're in right now, they need to update that internet speed, player, because you sound like you're a goddamn robot, man. Tell them to upgrade that internet speed, man.
That's a good one. Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Well, it sounds like doing a McDonald's drive-through.
You only get so much of the state.
Hey, don't
You're not listening to these guys.
Excuse me,
Adjust
sir.
the
Did you say
camera.
fries with that? Did you say fries with that, sir? Excuse me.
He's getting closer and
Business
closer.
was
Stand on the top of his head.
and listen,
Kevin, are you in the high chair? What type of chair are you sitting
Hey,
in? Hey, push the Kevin up and get a normal chair. Do something.
Yeah, that motherfucker.
Are you sitting on the floor? This dude's sitting on the floor doing a TV interview.
Hey, Kelvin, are you still got that same beanbag you had in college, man?
He's in a wheelchair.
Hey, go to IKEA, Walmart, and say.
Hey, Kelvin, put that wheelchair, put the brakes on the wheelchair, man. Goodness gracious.
Oh, Lord. Okay, I'm sorry, sweet man. I love you. You know I love you.
He got that Facebook and Instagram pic that say I done put on a little weight.
why is he having a hospital gown?
Please, somebody else go. MB, you got to move on.
I said when you want fresh for year.
Go ahead. Can you do it, Kelvin? Go ahead, sweet nasty.
We're going to let him do sign language for his part.
I'm going to switch my tablet. Y'all, come back. I'm going to switch to my tablet because I'm going to get all y'all for this.
Bro, get on your 5G network cell phone or something.
Hey, Matt,
whatever you're working
jump
with
in,
right
man.
now.
Hey, Matt, jump in, man, and tell your boy, tell everybody. Hey, barbecue the mildew, man. What you got on my man Art, man?
Look at the camera. You can't see.
My gosh.
Go ahead, Matt.
You hear me, Mike?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Before we get into this, I just want to say thank you for doing this for Coach. I mean, you got to say something here that really hasn't been acknowledged yet. That this guy, I mean, I know we got a lot of great dudes, All-Americans, Hall of Famers and so forth, but I'm going to tell you, I don't think Coach takes a backseat to anybody when you consider over 5 decades he's been having a contribution and the success he's had at the University of Miami. It's just remarkable. So I'm just telling you, Coach, you are deserving of every honor, every accolade, and we love you, man. I'm so grateful for you.
Absolutely.
And really, for sure. Now, amen to that. Let me tell you something, too. You guys might not know that Coach actually, as a player, he played with my cousin Clemmy, okay? And then Coach was involved in recruiting me, and then I played for him. He actually recruited my brother-in-law, because I ended up marrying his sister, Danny Mariscal's sister. He recruited both of my sons over 2 schools, and one of them ended up playing for him. So I just can't even tell you what an impact he's had on my life and our lives. Thank you, Coach. We love you, man. We love you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, for sure. So I got to tell you a little story here about. I'm so glad, Coach Wise, where you at? I'm gonna put you on the screen here too. When you showed up, Coach, in 1985, before that, it was Coach Kehoe with Coach Pagodas. Well, Coach Pagodas, he wasn't real good at teaching technique, as we all know. God rest his soul. Greg is here, and Greg can attest that. He's holding it down for the 80s here too. And so, Coach, you guys devised what's now a common drill, the mirror dodge drill. You guys did the mirror dodge in the 2000s. Y'all do that drill too?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
you did the mirror dodge. Well, it was a novel drill back then. So for the listeners to understand, you put 2 cones out. You put the offensive lineman takes a few steps forward, and then you got to make sure you go laterally, you want to stimulate the rush lane to stop the defender from coming in. Well, Coach Kehoe got the idea from individual drill. I mean, these guys are like, they're like sadists. He gets the idea. He's going to go ahead and take this drill. He's going to turn what should be a 5 second drill, 5-7 seconds, into a conditioning drill for 30 seconds or a minute straight. And so we're doing this and we're gassed. And so then I don't know who it was, Coach Wise or Coach Kehoe gets the idea. Well, these guys are getting tired. Why don't we bring in fresh blood? We'll bring in the safeties in the corners, and they can be the rabbits. Did you all do the safeties and corners too?
And we also had the assholes like Chris Myers, the guys that full of energy, full of piss and vinegar that wanted to run around all day long. Yeah, we had those guys too.
Hey, Mike, my freshman year, I was scared to death to go up against Matt Paget on middle drill. My freshman year, I was scared,
let me finish this
to death. I was scared to death.
So check this out.
Him and Louis Cristobal. I didn't want none of them.
But shit, you was scared every game.
You block most of the game.
Yes, Dr. Joe.
Yeah.
Hey, go ahead, man. Go ahead, Matt. Finish, baby.
Hey, Matt, they ain't afraid of you no more. They taking over.
Dr. Clark, give him his narcolepsy meds. Tell him to quiet down for a minute. So we're doing the drill, right? And now we're so exhausted. I don't even know who's coming up because, when you finish the drill, the objective is just to breathe to stay alive, right? So we don't even know who's up in there next, but this corner is running this dude ragged, and he goes to fall, and he gets kicked in the gut, and he's out cold, which is like a good for these dudes that know boxing. It's like a liver shot right there. He put him out, and so they pick him up, and Coach Kehoe's like, move the cones, because he's right in the middle of our drill. So we moved the cones over, and he picks him up, and he says, well, you'll be okay. He says, keep an eye on it. Let me know if you piss blood. And that's about it. And that was it. Move on for the next thing. So, but these guys love this. I mean, don't get it twisted, but that's how hard it was. He'll throw that Molotov cocktail right up your rear end if you're not going hard. So we love you, Coach. Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. Kehoe. Hey, Chris, why don't you jump in, man?
Well, I got many stories that we could break out here, obviously, but I want to go back to kind of how, you talk about roasting and mildew, but build up a little bit, touching on it, kind of how Coach Kehoe touched on me early on in life. So my uncle, Dennis Kelleher, played back in the late 80s with Miami, 85 and 89, who tended tight end, and Coach Kehoe was able to be a part of that whole dynamic. So I've been a part of Miami since I was 5 years old, and I've been in locker rooms. My uncle used to take me in there. So Coach Kehoe actually kind of saw me grow up a little bit, and he touched on Greg Mark earlier, who he recruited. Greg and my uncle Dennis were roommates. So when I was coming up through high school ranks, there was a camp, an offensive and defensive lineman camp called a Down and Dirty camp.
Down and Dirty, The Mules, baby, the Mules.
Down and Dirty, man, the Mules. And it was in like the middle of the state of Florida and the hot ass fucking weather. There was no fucking breeze at all. And all it was fucking 3 days. All fucking day. Yeah. My parents decided to fucking arrange a car ride with Art Kehoe, Greg Mark, and myself at fucking 16 years old from Miami up to the fucking camp and back afterwards. And I'm thinking, fucking hot shit. I have no fucking business being in this fucking car with these two guys when they're coaching University of Miami. I drive up, they're building me up on the drive up, and then for 4 straight days, they continuously beat the shit out of me on both sides of the fucking they're beating the shit out of every 14, 15, and 16-year-old kid, building them up, beating them down, building them up, beating them down. And then I have to drive back with them after 4 straight days or 3 days. Drive back, Coach Kehoe was like, you didn't do too bad. You didn't do too bad. After I'm fucking demoralized, right? Thank God I fucking did that. I had no business going to the University of Miami. They recruited me there. Thank God I chose to be able to be a part of the University of Miami. When I got there, Coach Kehoe was the difference maker in every single person's life, right? This is where I get to the next step. The next introduction I have was Don Bailey. You still down here? I can't see you, but I know you're on mute. Remember the steak dinner that we used to have with the offensive lineman?
At Flynn's house.
Yeah.
Big East, the feast for the Big East or the whatever the hell it was.
Steaks from Hurricane Bar and Grill. Remember that?
Right.
With that tar sauce. This is the memory I have of Coach Kehoe. There's a lot of memories I have. We were sitting there at this dinner at the house, and I'm a young. I have no business saying any words, and the word starts going around. The word's been mentioned multiple times tonight on how short your damn shorts used to be, but I don't know how you wear them now.
I already know where you're going, baby.
He's sitting at the bar with Don, whoever it is, they're conversating. They got a couple cocktails going. The word starts getting around that Kehoe's balls are hanging out of his shorts. And I'm like, this is bullshit. Everyone starts making the rounds. All 15 offensive linemen start peeking over. Holy shit. Fucking both hanging out. Both balls are hanging out.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be that guy? So Joaquin's the guy. Got to go over and whisper to him in his ear. So all the rest of us fucking sit in the corner watching Joaquin go over and whisper in Coach Kehoe's ear. Hey, listen. Hang out. Right away, he fucking peeks down, tucks them shits back in. You motherfucker. You motherfucker.
Oh yeah, but you got to remember, we kept talking to him about like the games that we were playing and talking about balls out effort, and you got to, it's just balls out. You got to work, man.
That's
my practice. Practice makes perfect. It's balls out effort everywhere.
That's my point of the story. That's my point of the story is that it was so crazy that all those innuendos that he always used to say in the offensive line room came to fruition in that one moment when both of his balls are sitting on both sides of his pants. I don't know. This is like the second or third time your balls and sausage have been mentioned in this roast so far. So I don't know if there's a trend going, Coach Kehoe, but there seems to be a misnomer of where they want to be inside your shorts right now. But long story short, you came back. Listen, moving back to actually building you back up. I'm a coach now for the past 3 or 4 years at a high school out here, LaSalle High School, and in Philadelphia, outside of Philadelphia. And there's about 2 or 3 drills that I do every single day with my offensive linemen. And they completely changed my career in the NFL. And I actually taught my NFL coaches these drills as well because I thought they'd been a different highlight. Conscious punches, the mirror dodge stuff that we used to do with actually skill guys doing stuff like that. You mentioned it earlier. But Tunch's Punches was one of the ones that I actually do every single day with my guys. And
Tunch Yokin, shout out.
Yes, absolutely. What do you want to say, Coach?
Yeah, I learned them all from Tony Wise.
Well, Tony, I appreciate your tutelage on Coach Kehoe because that trickle-down effect is every single screen in here that you see has been able to see that progression for all of us here, especially when he's with us. Well, we got some.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
No, we're good. I'm loving this. I'm loving this right now. But Coach Kehoe, from the bottom of my heart, though, from a guy that didn't deserve to be in college football at all, let alone going to the NFL, I attest the majority of my success to your tutelage and respect on how you actually took ownership of our guys. So I'll move on, but I appreciate you. I'm glad you're feeling better, and I hope everything progresses for you.
Oh, man.
That's awesome. Hey, Sherko, barbecue a meal, dude, man. Jump in.
Hey, Sherko, show that picture again. One more time, Sherk.
Oh, you talking about this one?
Yeah.
Come on, sweet nasty help. Hey man, we gotta
it's bad, Mike B, when the next generation is on you. Like when another generation has to get on you. That's bad.
10 years later. 10 years after us.
Oh, man. Oh, go ahead, Sherko. You got it.
Shelby, open your eyes, man. We can't tell if you're awake or sleeping.
Oh, here we go. Another goddamn internet guy. Here we go.
Sir, did you say a double cheeseburger and large fry? What kind of drink, sir?
Hey, Chewbacca, go ahead and talk, Chewbacca. He's talking in this native language. Go ahead, Chewbacca.
One of the beautiful things about being in that offensive line room with Coach Kehoe was that every day when we had the meetings, about 1:30 right after lunchtime, you knew exactly what Coach had for lunch because half of it was in his shirt. I touched on the whole chewing thing a little earlier. I don't know what happened to you as a kid.
Look, MB, we are not gonna stand for this disrespect on our show. You gonna either get a new internet connection or you gonna get off.
Half the things that you were eating, I mean, what happened there? Did you get those things fixed? Let me see. Can you come closer? I can barely see them.
That's Kehoe through the years.
But no, I think one of the keys to all the stuff that you guys were talking about coaches is how much fun it was and how much fun it was to work hard. I mean, I remember coming in and most of us were hot shit where we were from. You're big, strong, and fast, and high school football was real easy to excel at. And shortly after I got there, I guess I wasn't doing as well as Coach was hoping I'd be doing. So he just came out and called me out. Not just in the room, not just to the team, but dang, to everybody. He went out to the meeting and said, Kirko's the kind of player that'll get a coach fired.
Coach killer.
And I'm sitting there, you guys talk about him staying on you guys and pushing you guys, even though whether you're an All-American or whether you're a rookie or a bench warmer. That man just called it out right away and he called it like it is. So after that, I knew that I had to give a little bit more effort and be a little bit more of what is expected at the University of Miami and what is expected by your man, Arthur Francis.
Hey, man, are you in a cave in Afghanistan?
Yeah. Are you on a raft floating over from Cuba?
Oh. Wow.
Josh fired.
Oh.
Wow.
That's fine. Is my voice coming over bad?
Oh, shit.
You got to lay off that medical marijuana in Oregon, brother.
It's legal here, brother.
Hey, Joaquin, man. Hey, Joaquin, you got to give him a raise. Don't he work with you, Joaquin? You got to give him a raise so he can get a better wireless or internet.
No,
give him a raise, Joaquin.
He got his own money, bro. He's on his own. He's flipping his own bill.
So anyway, I'll close off by saying that, after being there for a few years, and working hard and having fun in that room, and obviously you guys know what our offensive line did those years. We had pretty good years there. I started asking around to some of the guys, especially the guys that aren't necessarily from the South Florida area and grew up wanting to become Miami Hurricanes from the time they were kids. And I started asking the question, hey man, why'd you come to the University of Miami? And more often than not, I got the answer, because of Coach Kehoe.
Yeah.
And I'll attest to that right now. Casey Jones, why'd you come to the University of Miami?
Arthur Francis Kehoe.
Romberg, why'd you come to the University of Miami?
Because of a 5'7" highway that came up into Canada that was known as the quickest way to the quarterback, number 59, but number one in your heart, Arthur Francis Joseph Kehoe III, 100%.
So one of the reasons you're doing this show, Mike, and is to show what an impact Arthur Francis Kehoe had on the University of Miami. Not only the longevity part, but how much love and effort and passion he put into it. But yeah, he is one of the reasons that a lot of guys ended up going to school there. Right. And ended up contributing a lot to the success of that program. So, Coach Key, thanks for taking me out of the cold north and bringing me down to the palm trees and sun. And I hope we did you good, brother.
You're the best, stud.
Hey man, everybody's favorite doppelganger when it comes to Osama bin Laden is Shirko Haji Razula. I'm just do yourself a favor. Google that mother scruncher right now and Google Omar bin Laden. For all of you that are listening, it's Osama's son. But Google Omar, and I swear to God, you're gonna be like, no goddamn way this dude played on the University of Miami legally. There's no possible way. No possible way.
More sanctions to come. Hey, Coach Tony, jump in there. Barbecue and mildew, Coach.
How you doing?
Oh no, not
go ahead.
Let's go, Coach Tony Wise.
No, go Coach Wise. Go ahead.
And then we'll go Fitzpatrick.
Go Fitz.
No, we'll go Wise first.
Okay, go ahead.
Arthur.
Yes, sir.
I cannot come up with quite as many stories about your nuts and your lunch being on your shirt and all that other shit. But Art and I are dear friends. As you guys know, that was a whole different ball game in 85, 86 with the staff that we had, and God bless Joe and Axe and all those guys that were there. And as Art said in his Hall of Fame thing, you know, again, as a player, and I know you, but I mean, as a player and the guys on that team that accomplished that, because everybody has to remember that, as Art said, that thing was a small thing away from being dropped. And we all have to remember that. And Art as a player, and then, you know, as I was fortunate that, you know, I come in, because that was awful tough, Art, that I come in, you guys had just won a national championship, and you had been on the staff, and you knew all these guys, and you know, you accepted me in, and I said, geez, Art, let's do it this way, or whatever like that. And as you guys say, Art's passion for everything, let's run through that fucking brick wall. Well, Art says, okay, I'm with you. Let's go ahead and do it. So you're one of the most wonderful human beings, and that's why I'm so glad that your goddamn health is back, and you know, you're doing the things to take care of yourself, Art.
Well, that's what happens when you're carrying a giant stick between your two legs. One of them kind of gets messed up a little bit, so you got to compensate once in a while. Yeah,
that is correct. But you know, and then the old thing, Art, you got to remember, all you guys, is that as a coach, so we leave, and then Art stays, and Greg Smith comes in, right?
Yeah.
So Art was the guy that was left to try to explain to Erickson or Larry Coker, hey, when you ask us why we were good, these were the reasons we were good. Right, Art?
Yes. For the books, baby.
We did this, we did this, we did this. And so the things you accomplished there by staying, and I admire Art, because as you know, everybody knows coaches have a tendency, oh, let's go here because it's a lot better over there. And you're to be commended, and seriously, for staying there. Now everybody can appreciate all the things that you brought to that. It was a wonderful career, Art, a absolutely wonderful career, and thank God that I'm a friend of yours.
Thank you, Tony.
Hey,
I learned a lot from you, buddy.
Hey, now, as far as your roommate, hey, Fitzpatrick, won't you jump in, man? Tell him what he learned from you, being his roommate, or what you learned about him.
I got to be Art's roommate by straws being drawn, because I was a roommate with a guy. I'm not gonna say his name, but Jim and Art said we're not gonna have him as roommate. So they took his stuff and put it out on the grass. When Jim Burt says, I'm gonna put your stuff on the grass, you're gonna get your stuff put on the grass, you're gonna move. So Art, and I thought, man, true freshman, great. I'm at Miami, got my own room. Art and Jim drew straws, and Jim won. So I got to roommate with Art. And the neatest thing was, because he is short, is he had a cat litter box he used to sleep in at night. And then I got to hear stories about him He's from Conshohocken, right outside of Philadelphia, and by way of Laney College, junior college in California, in Oakland. That way he was close to Southern California, because in the summertime he went down, he was interning for the Seven Dwarfs and Disney. And all kidding aside, one of the most incredible human beings I've ever been around, all kidding aside. I got to room with him. And then as my career went on, I got to actually be on the team while he was on this coaching staff. And I'm gonna tell you, you guys know it's no secret. He played like he coached.
Right.
He coached like he played. You were gonna get 100% out of Art Kehoe, and he's very passionate. One of my best friends. I'll take it to my grave knowing that I was a good friend with Art Kehoe. It was one of the best times of my life. And we were like sons to Jim Burke, because Jim moved his fiance into the dorms, the football dorms, and used to make us shoot skyrockets at the dorm coach, and then order pizzas, like 15 pizzas to the dorm coach, and then move moving van lines, and we used to laugh, and then we'd have to go run and do everything for Coach Allen. And but just being there at the University of Miami and gaining a friendship like I have with Art Kehoe, I'll never forget for the rest of my life.
Oh,
Thanks,
wow.
Tony.
Awesome.
You're the best, baby.
And I am a little bit taller than you, because I used to lick salt off his forehead.
Hey.
Everybody's taller than me.
Except Calvin in the video today. Except Calvin in the video.
Except Calvin.
You're right.
Yeah, I don't know it. Hey, speaking of friend or childhood friend, hey Tom, man, what you got on barbecue to mildew, man?
Hey, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about Art from the time I've known him, which we've been friends since we were 10 years old. Okay, and we're 63. All right, so for 53 years, this clown has been my best friend. All right, but I wanted to give you guys a little insight into how Art got to Miami and what it took for him to get to Miami. Okay, the dedication he shows to Miami. And if you know anybody that's more emotional, dedicated, or maniacal about the U, everything about the U, you need to tell me who it is, because I know who it is. It's Art Kehoe, and I'm going to tell you why. All right. Now, even Tony, his best friend down there, who we just heard from, along with Don Bailey, probably doesn't know this story I'm going to tell you. Okay. But all you guys that played for him are going to have a good foundation of who he was as a player and what it took for him, the goals he set for himself as a young person to get to Miami. Okay. And
I thought you were going to go into the $10 a pop that he was going to the local 7-Eleven for a little bit of the, the clerk behind the desk. Okay, I got it. I understand now.
Oh, God.
So you know a little bit about our forays into 7-Eleven with the Sister Grace working there, but that's another story. But
there's always another story.
There's always another story. So anyway, we're at a small school like Tony said in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania, Archbishop Kennedy High School. Off the beaten trail when Division I recruiters would come through that school. Okay, and Art is a really good player, but of course, as you all know, he's undersized. He'll tell you he's 6 foot, and we know he's 5'9". Some of you guys say he's 5'7". Probably closer to 5'11". But in high school, under 6 foot, 180 pounds. Okay, and a good player. Offensive line, linebacker, wants to be Bill Berge, who's who he wants to be. He had the number 66, was actually his senior year number. But anyway, the season ends, and he wants to go to college, and he wants to play football. So nobody's beating his door down. He's not getting offers. He goes to the head coach at the time and says, hey, coach, I want to play college football. Can you help me out? So the coach is probably thinking, hey, there's no place for this guy. We're a small school. He's undersized. I can't go on a ledge for him, whatever. So a week goes by. He calls on. I said, I got a school interested in you, man. I said, it's a great place for you. Oh, yeah, coach, where's that? He says, Stevens Trade. Okay, Stevens Trade? What the hell's a Stevens Trade? Well, it's Stevens Trade School, okay, which is a small technical school out in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, okay, where they teach you plumbing, electricity, carpentry, construction management, things like that. And the head coach thinks this is a natural for Art because his dad's a plumber. And Art's like, well, hell, goddamn, I don't want to be a plumber. He says, I'm not going to Stevens trade. So he's got nowhere to go. Okay. No recruits, no recruiting, no letters, no offers, no nothing. So his dad figures out or looks into, postgraduate high school, where can Art go? Okay. So he comes up with Milford Academy, okay, in Milford, Connecticut, which is a really good postgraduate school with a really good football program. And they place guys. I mean, they do. They play a good schedule, Rutgers JV, Maryland JV, the Service Academy. Good schedule. He's going to get noticed. So he has a great year up at Milford Academy. Well, the only offers he's getting, now remember, he wants to go Division I. He's thinking Notre Dame. That's who we grew up with. Penn State, all those places. Well, he's getting Yankee Conference offers. And if everybody understands the Yankee Conference, Tony Wise, I don't see him on the screen here now, but he would know what the Yankee Conference was. And that was basically like a 1AA league. Maine, Rhode Island, Yukon, Massachusetts. That ain't good enough for Art. He's not going there. I'm going to Penn State. I'm going to Notre Dame. And we as his friends are like, hey, Art, give it up, man. You ain't freaking going to these places. That's where I'm going. I'm going to one of those schools. So instead of taking those offers, he got a preferred walk-on at Villanova. Okay. Now, this is what a lot of you guys don't know. Okay. He goes to Villanova as a preferred walk-on. And he says to the head coach at the time, Coach Bettison, he says, I want to earn a scholarship here. And right about that time, his dad had his first heart attack. So with 6 kids to raise, it was tough on the Kehoe family coming up with that kind of money. So a scholarship was important to Art. And besides, he wants to play Division I football. And at the time, Villanova, they would play Maryland, West Virginia, Virginia Tech, Rutgers, schools like that, and then throw in some mid-majors. But it was a great place for Art to go, and it was only 5 miles from where we live. So Art goes to Villanova. But his understanding that, hey, I have a great year, coach going to put me on scholarship, right? Well, he has a great year as a true freshman, okay? He starts at nose guard, okay, in a 50 front, okay, and gets in the mix, all right? And we went and watched him play. My season was over, so we go to watch him at the vet. He gets a sack, at the vet, has a big tackle and a kickoff. I mean, he's in the mix and doing well. Season ends, he walks in the office. Hey, coach, I think I had a pretty good year. Remember we talked about it? He goes, well, all right, we got recruiting season just, underway right now, and we got numbers to work on, positions to fill. He says, yeah, I'm not quite sure right now, but you know what? He said, and you've only been here a year. He says, so let's do this. He goes, spring ball. Okay, if you have a great spring ball, okay, I'll put you on aid. That's what he's telling her. I'm going to put you on aid if you have a great spring ball. So boom, they go out to have spring ball. Art beats out at nose guard the returning starter. Okay, his teammates name him team captain for the spring as a freshman. So holy shit, I'm in like Flynn now. I mean, I'm the team captain. I beat out the senior starter. He's got to give me a scholarship. He marches right into Bettison. Coach, I had a great year. Here was our conversation, blah, blah, blah. And Bettison's like, well, Art, yeah, I know. He said, but, I'm working on some kids that we have some offers out to and all that. So I haven't forgot about you. We're going to come up with something. Okay, I'll get back to you. Well, now we're in April or May. Okay, and Art's a Villanova painter. He gets a summer job as a painter. Okay, so he's on campus. Well, through the grapevine, Art hears that Villanova just signed a high school defensive lineman out of Boston. Well, now he goes freaking ballistic. Boston? First of all, where the hell's Boston? And do they play football in Boston? He goes, who is this guy? So he's obsessed now that his scholarship went to some high school kid when he should have got it. So we go to the Phillies game. About 2 days after that, we go down to the Phillies game, and we're drinking beer. We go into the game down the vet, and we get into the vet, and of course we're up in the left-hand stands, and we're heckling Greg Luzinski, and that was our thing, we're getting all over Greg Luzinski, and he's giving us the #1 salute behind his back up in the stands, So we're drinking, having a good time. The game's over. We're walking out the parking lot. Now, we couldn't shut him up all the way down from country down to the vet about him losing his scholarship or not getting it. We couldn't shut him up. Couldn't shut up him inside. Okay. Well, now we get out and we have half a load on. We're walking to the car. Now he goes off. He goes, I want to get that MFer. He says, I'm going to get kid from Boston. I want his. He says, I would grab him by the neck, and he reaches up in the sky in the air and he grabs this, this kid, this imaginary kid by the neck, and he says, I want to do this to him. And he throws an uppercut. Well, he has half a load on, and the uppercut becomes a full right hook. He throws that and punches himself right in the freaking eye, and he goes down. I mean, he's down on a knee, half drunk, half knocked out, and we lose him. Hey, Art, that's just great, pal. Bring this kid down. We'll set the fight up. He won't have to even show up, and you can beat the shit out of yourself. He said, hey, matter of fact, Art, you're hitting yourself with too many rights. Throw a few lefts. You know, a few lefts. So anyway, so he's lost. So he marches right into. He's been playing now. He marches back in the Bedison's office, and he says, "Coach, you promised me a scholarship." He says, "If I don't have a scholarship at Villanova by I forget the date, let's say like July 15th, I'm going to a junior college in California. I'm out of here." And Bedison's probably thinking, "Wait a second, the kid went to Milford Academy. He's been here for a year. He lives 5 miles away from here. He ain't going anywhere else." July 15th shows up. They take roll call, for summer camp. Kehoe's not there. One of the other coaches on the staff, a legendary guy at Villanova, Lou Ferry, says to him, "Hey, coach, he told you if he wasn't getting a scholarship, he's out of here. He's in California right now at Laney Junior College." So Art flies out to Laney Junior College, doesn't know anybody. I think he has an uncle somewhere in the Bay Area, okay, as an emergency lifeline support. So he just shows up, and the head coach there, Stan Peters, he's got nowhere to stay. Well, for a year and a half, Art lives in the coach's office and uses the showers and the toilets in the locker room. He doesn't have any money. He gets a job at a restaurant as a busboy at Barclay Jack's in Oakland. So now he's eating. He's getting paid and he's eating. And then they made the mistake by making him a cook. Okay. So when the orders would come in, what's that, a strip steak? Okay. 1 strip steak for them, 1 strip steak for me. Order of shrimp, 1 for him, 1 for me. So now he's eating. Okay. So he has a great 2 years at Laney. All right. And he's the team captain at Laney, and he's a junior college All-American, all that kind of stuff. All right. Well, now he's still not getting the scholarships he wants. So what he's getting is a trip to New Mexico State, a trip to Nevada, Reno, but not what he wants. So he starts calling himself, and he's pretending he's the defensive coordinator, Bob Powick. And he would call like Joe Paterno, say, "Hey, Coach Paterno, this is Bob Powick, Laney College. I got a kid here. He's from Pennsylvania, so you know he's tough. He's good academics. He's a leader. You ought to look at him." And he's making these calls all over the country, UCLA, USC, Texas, Oklahoma, down to Miami. He's getting the questionnaires back, send his film, fills the questionnaire out, Art Kehoe, everything's right about it, except the height and weight, of course, 6'2", 270, nose guard, sending it out. Well, he's living in the coach's office, and now he's starting to get some recruiters come by. So a guy comes by one morning, knocks on the door, and it's an outdoor air offices in California. So you walk out the door, you're on the sidewalk. So he knocks at the door, Art's sleeping in there, answers the door in his briefs. And you guys know Art, if a body like that should be wearing boxers anyway, So the guy opens the door. He said, "Well, who are you looking for?" "Stan Peters." "Well, he's not here. What do you want?" He said, "Well, I'm here to look at a guy by the name of Art Kehoe." He said, "Well, that's me." So he sits down and they start watching film together. Okay. So this is going on and on for, the recruiting process. But as luck would have it, Miami calls. All right. And it's Mike Archer. And Archer calls and does everything by way of phone, never meets Art, okay? Gets him on the plane for official visit, flies into Miami. Archer meets him at the airport. Art gets off the plane. Archer says to him, "Hey, Art, did you leave 2 inches of height on the plane?" He goes, "What the hell?" And Art's like, "Oh, shit, whatever." So goes to the recruiting weekend, and the coach that recruited him was actually Lou Saban. Okay, it wasn't Howard Schnellenberger. So that's another hurdle that Art had to overcome. All right. So he get in there with Schellenberger's, he's just twirling that championship ring, Super Bowl ring. And he's telling Art, "Hey, Art, we really didn't recruit you." And Art's thinking, "Well, he's going to back out on me." Well, right then and there in the office, Art sells himself to Howard Schnellenberger. Okay. And Schnellenberger keeps him. All right. So Art went to junior college. He went to a 4-year school and transferred, and he went to a postgraduate school just to get to Miami. And it was the best thing that ever happened to him because he had lifelong friends like Tony Fitzpatrick, Don Bailey, all the offensive line guys there, which is it's a brotherhood. You know that. Other guys, John K9, Jim Picorni, rest his soul. All those guys became his best friends. So anyway, Art has a great career there playing at Miami. And to bring this thing full circle back to Villanova. Okay, they're going to the Peach Bowl to play Virginia Tech. Okay, well, they get to come home for a few days, so Art's going to get a workout in, and we used to sneak into Villanova all the time. Okay, to work out, play basketball, whatever. So he talks his way in the Villanova waiting room. So in the Villanova weight room is a guy he actually played with at Villanova by the name of Dan Driscoll. So they're bullshitting. He says, yeah, I'm at Miami and this and that and the other thing. Well, who walks in? The head football coach, Dick Bettison, that denied him the scholarship. Well, Dan Driscoll, who was a little bit of an irreverent kid, okay, himself, and he's a senior, he's called, hey, coach, he goes, remember this guy? This is the guy who wasn't good enough to play for you. Guess what? He's the captain of Miami, and he's here. And a week from now, he's going to play Virginia Tech in the Peach Bowl. What do you think about that, Coach? Bettison just turned around, did a 180 out the door, and that was the end of it. And so that's what it took for Art to get to Miami. So, when you talk about some of you guys, great players, you probably had 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 offers, okay? And you accepted them, and there you are at Miami. And then you think about a guy like Art that put his heart and soul into it and busted his balls to get there and took every road possible to get to Miami. Okay, that's the foundation you players have, in Art Kehoe. So he's the only guy that probably ever played, because the statutes of limitations are out on this. He played 5 years of football. Okay, 5 years. But the one thing that guy Bettison did for him, and I'll close with this, the one thing Bettison did, because he played at Villanova for a year, Laney for 2, Miami for 2. That's 5 years. You only get 5 years to play 4. He played 5. Okay. But the one thing that Dick Bettison did for him is wrote a letter to the NCAA and said that Art Kehoe never played at Villanova. So he was back to 5, and playing 4. So that's Art's story, how he got there. So you guys are either going to appreciate him a little bit more, or that's going to be some more fodder for you to burn his ass with. So there you go. That's my best buddy, Art Kehoe. I love him to death, and it's the take a bullet kind of love. Okay, I'd take a bullet for that guy. So I know you guys cherish him too. So Art, I appreciate you being my friend. I love you, man. And for Clue and for MB, thanks for having me on here.
Hey, well, we definitely appreciate that 2-minute synopsis of his career. I think we all feel like we know him just a little bit better. And we also appreciate you putting Miami back in the NCAA crossfires for the 16 years that Coach Art ended up playing. Greg, take it away before Tom start again.
I won't take too much time because I know KC still needs to call out, and I see McKinney on here as well. So I just want to say, as far as the coaches that have been around the University of Miami, the coaches that I've coached in the NFL, the 2 that are on this call today, Art Kehoe and Tony Wise, are the 2 that I was able to coach under, to be coached by, and just thoroughly appreciated what they taught me. I remember when I was coming in as an 18-year-old from South Jersey down to the University of Miami, and Coach Art was just a graduate assistant at the time, and Fitzpatrick was a senior. And when you walked into that lunchroom or breakfast room, the very first day, I heard every mom joke there was going back and forth. And that's the way I got to know them. And then 2 years later, Coach Kehoe becomes my coach with Tony Wise. And his enthusiasm is the biggest difference, I feel, with college coaching and NFL coaching. It's night and day. And we used to go, or at least when I was playing with Patch and everything, we used to sprint from drill to drill. And Kehoe would get in there and kind of try and beat us to the next drill. Well, they didn't prepare us as far as, that well in the NFL, because my very first time getting drafted by the Browns with a very, experienced offensive line. So the very first day of practice, I go out there and I'm getting ready. I'm all hyped, and I go sprinting from one drill, the very first break out of calisthenics, and I go sprinting to the next drill. And the coach Mudd was my offensive line coach at the time. He goes, "Hey, look at the rookie! Look at the rookie go!" And I'm hyped. He notices me right away, and I'm with all these other offensive linemen. So I'm sitting there blocking. And the next drill's 15 minutes later. I get started to go run to the next drill, and I get horse collared by a 10-year vet, Cody Risen. And he looks at me and he goes, "What are you doing, Rook?" He says, "Rook, we got one speed. We move like a herd of turtles, and that's the way we go. And you can lead that herd of turtles, or you can get back here, because you're not going to be able to last 10 years. And obviously it was right, because I didn't last 10 years. But as far as the enthusiasm, I think that's what you miss. You have that in college, but you kind of miss that in the pros. So I just really appreciate what I learned. I learned the best from Coach Tony Wise and Coach Art Kehoe. And I never knew his middle name until now. So I always just know him as Coach Art. So there you go. I learned something today, and I really appreciate everyone on this call and what Coach meant to my life, and both coaches, and what they've done for my life. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Greg.
That was a good story.
Yeah, it was quick too. Well, y'all need to learn something from Greg.
Come on, K-Lou.
B-Mac, we don't know where you been going. Hey,
Coach
you been
Wise,
gone.
Coach Kehoe. Coach Wise, Coach Kehoe. Did you guys bring those one-on-one cut-ups with Greg versus Fagan you were talking about? Did you all bring that?
Sure, keep that up. Hold up. Keep that up, dude.
Yeah, that Fagan joke.
Coach Wise, did you bring those cut-ups? Did you? Those one-on-ones?
They're lost forever. They're lost forever.
I remember you brought them into the meeting room. You played the Jaws music in the background, didn't you?
Hey, Claude, do you remember Coach Wise? We're off.
Yep. We're up.
Hey, B-Mac.
Bunch of Big Bertha. Remember Big Bertha? Remember Big Bertha?
I remember
The
Big
bunch of
Bertha.
Hey,
Coach Wise,
y'all.
remember?
Hey, y'all go
Hey,
help
Mike, there's a-
Nasty get
there's
out
a
his
weight
child
limit.
seat. Hey,
Mike, there's a
B-Mac,
weight
you up,
limit.
baby?
Mike, there's a weight limit on Zoom. I don't think B-Mac you're gonna be able to see
Yeah,
it.
Big Mac is. We're talking about remember this, remember that.
Shut
I
up,
think
Rosie
Big Mac is
O'Donnell.
like Big Mac is trying to remember when this thing started. To be honest with you.
Hey, Claude.
Go ahead,
watch
Big Mac.
out.
Hey, B-Mac.
Claude.
Go ahead,
Hey,
man.
watch
Godzilla, time out. I'm gonna put y'all on timeout. Timeout. Go ahead, B-Mac. You got it, baby.
All right, I remember Coach Kehoe came in like the Tasmanian devil into my junior
Oh my
college.
God! Hold on a minute. Stop the press, ladies. Look at my man's hairline right quick. Oh my!
Oh, you see it?
God.
I went to the barbershop today.
Yeah, I
Thank
bet
you,
you
Rosie
did.
O'Donnell.
I bet you did. I bet
We
you
got
did.
Laverne and Shirley sitting over there.
Golly.
Look like Chris
Anybody
Farley
ever
down
heard of
here.
Beijing? This man holding on to that Beijing strong. Like,
You ain't hit him with the Beijing.
I did.
Oh, man, shots
Joaquin,
fired. Go
put
ahead,
one of them
B-Mac.
tins away.
What did he say? What you say, B-Mac?
I said, put one of them chins away, Joaquin.
Fuck you, fat hoe.
But Coach Kehoe came in like the Tasmanian devil into my JUCO and was talking just like too, like nah, 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 nah. I was like, who is this man? But he had like high energy, so I kind of was like, this will be fun. And I ended up coming to Miami and just sitting in the team meeting rooms. You know, I redshirted. Vernon and I we redshirted the first year, and I used to listen to him say like, "Did you get the license plate of that Mack truck?" Like somebody got ran over, or he was like, "What are you working at a concession stand? Ticket, please, ticket, please." And somebody ran past you. I was like, man, I wanted to do that to me. So that kind of motivated me to like, try to stay off the film like that. But Coach Kehoe definitely was a motivator. Even days when we didn't feel like doing stuff, he would put us in the sand pit. I mean, I hated the sand pit, but he would do like little things. We would try to negotiate with him too. So he would kind of work with us on some things too. But Coach Kehoe was fun as hell, like to be around and to actually be coached by probably one of my funniest coaches I've ever had overall. And he definitely made the meeting rooms a lot of fun with Joe.
No,
with everybody.
You're right now. You know what you're doing right now, Big Mac? You're coming in on a Wednesday NFL game plan day when you're about to go against a white defensive end, a white defensive end versus a black defensive end. You got the white dude. You know you're about to go ahead and go against.
He has high motor.
Yeah, he's got high motor, man. He's a hard worker. He's relentless. Don't take any time off with this dude.
Coach Kehoe would always fucking talk up every defensive end. You know, he'd write up on the fucking board the guy, and he'd be like 6'1", 185. Hey, this guy's the real deal.
Werewolf.
Bro.
Yeah. Werewolf.
Rolling ball and butcher knives.
Butcher knives. Non-stop.
He hyped everybody up that we win against.
Rolling ball, butcher knives.
Hey, Don Belly, jump in there, man. Talk about barbecue the meal, dude, man. Talk about Art Kehoe, man.
You know, I'm gonna take the other route. I'm really not gonna barbecue him too much. You guys have burned him pretty good today. Well, first of all, I want to say hey to Fitzy and Tony Wise too. Fitzy was I had to go against him every day. He was a nose guard when I was a center, and Tony, it's always great to see you. But you know, one thing I will tell you is, and I think everybody on this call will realize, is that there was nothing better in the world in your life than being in the meeting room with Art Kehoe and that offensive line. Fortunately, I was able to be in on it quite a bit, and over the years, and got to know Brett and that whole gang, and Joaquin and Shirk and Brian, all those guys, all these years. But if I had to pick one thing to do, and I would say, no matter what it is, I would say I'd rather go sit in a meeting room with Art Kehoe and his offensive linemen and just listen to them all. Because I will tell you, one thing Art inspired out his guys is to talk back. That was the best part about it. It wasn't a one-way conversation there. Whatever Art said, he had it coming back at him. And I think that, and I look at the University of Miami, having been there since Howard Schnellenberger's first year, and I will tell you, publicly, I'd write it down on paper. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't know that Miami wins all those national championships if Art Kehoe's not there. Everybody wants to talk about Howard and Jimmy and Dennis and Larry and what Butch did and what this one did and what that. All I know is there's one staple. The staple was Arthur Francis Joseph Kehoe. He was there. He was the guy. He was the guy that believed in all you guys on this Zoom call. He believed in you when maybe some other people didn't. But he was the one that inspired the energy on that football team. He kept everybody honest, whether it was a running back, whether it was the defensive line, his offensive line. He kept everybody on point, and I really believe it. There should be a damn building named after Art Kehoe on that campus, or a meeting room named after him, or a trophy that's given out.
The mess hall.
There's
Cafeteria. The cafeteria.
Cafeteria, DB.
When you think about, we had the laughs were endless. There's no question. The laughs were endless. Never stopped. But when you talk about life changing, Art Kehoe changed more lives than anybody that's been through the doors at the University of Miami. And I'll go to my grave with it. Arthur Francis Joseph Kehoe is as big a reason the University of Miami won all these championships as any player, as any coach, as any assistant, as anybody. So I'm just glad that you're able to have this. I appreciate you doing it, Mike and Kaylu. I appreciate it. And we needed this. We think Art needed this. We needed this. There's nothing better.
Listen, I don't want to get sappy, Dom, but to echo what your sentiment is, there's certain people in your life that you take with you, and you always remember when certain things come at you in life. And there's one thing that Coach Kehoe told me, and I was a walk-on when I got to UM. So, and being there, I remember having a conversation with Coach Kehoe, and he told me something that to this day I echo with my son and I echo with my daughter, which are both into sports. Coach Kehoe told me, because I was trying to explain to him what motivated me, and like he was paying attention to me, but at the end of it, he told me something. He goes, Joaquin, I don't care what drives you as long as you're driven. Wow. And that phrase that he told me is Art Kehoe, because he's always been driven. And not to be sappy, I'm about to get back on you, Coach. I'm about to get back on you. But I always remember that, man. I always remember that. I'm so grateful to have crossed paths with him, because I will take that to my grave and try to push that forward and to everybody else that I meet that needs those words echoed to them.
Definitely. And Mike, to second Joaquin's opinion here, like football is so reflective upon life. And I'm not trying to get deep or philosophical or metaphorical or anything like that, but football, there's no other sport in the world that echoes life like football, whether it's teamwork, camaraderie, racial issues, political issues, a bunch of men in a locker room striving for a common goal. I'm not going to go deep, but there's never been anybody that in my life, ever in my life, that has been able to navigate and manipulate the masses the way that Arthur Francis Joseph Kehoe III has been able to do so. I really, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm known as like the chameleon guy. Like I could hang out with whoever, I could move around, I could do whatever the hell I want to do. But there is a guy that I learned that from. and that's AFK. You know what I mean? Like AFK, to be perfectly honest with you, if you think about all the degenerates that have been on this phone call tonight, yes, even you, Calvin Harris, everybody that's been on this call tonight probably echo the same sentiment. Offensive line might be, and even especially Tony Wise, offensive line might be the most difficult position to coach, not because of intelligence, not because of how difficult things are, but more along the lines of trying to motivate men to try to create opportunity for other men on a football program. There's no limelight, there's no stardom, there's no awards, there's no accolades, really. If you think about it, at the end of the day, it's the quarterback, the running back, the wide receiver that's sexy on the offense. Nobody wants to grow up being an offensive lineman. But
Right.
Coach Wise, Coach Kehoe, these are the individuals that find a way to make these giant mule individual men that don't want to do things some days want to do things, and to motivate our youth, to motivate our 20-year-olds, to motivate grown-ass men that are making a lot of money to accomplish a freaking goal that nobody else is willing to accomplish. They love the goal at the end of the tunnel. They love that. Everybody loves the perfume on the pig. Everybody loves the accolades, the fast cars, the giant houses, the bank accounts. Everybody loves that stuff. But nobody likes doing the work in order to achieve those things. And I think you got guys like Art Kehoe, you got guys like Tony Wise that are coaching, and then Chris Myers coming up into the ranks. The same individuals that want to motivate these young men, these young women that really, at the end of the day, as humans, we don't want to. We have a natural ability to just not want to thrive. And you have to have people like them in order to make us see the end of the tunnel, to see the light, to see the success, to see the passion, to see the fruits of your labors, in order for us to become successful as people, as men, as husbands, as fathers, as brothers, as sons. You have to have guys like them. You have to, because not every day you wake up and the sun is shining and everything's freaking great.
Hey, that's
not
it.
every day of the week.
The rest of it is $3.99.
Yeah, I got to charge you guys for the rest of my motivational speech.
The rest of the motivational piece is
goddamn Jimmy Johnson's getting paid millions and millions of dollars to go and talk to you like this. I ain't getting shit, Mike B. Mike B, I'm here for a goddamn purpose now.
I love it, baby. I love it. Hey, listen.
I felt like the two guys that talk for a living were in a little competition. They're done. Really well said, by the way.
By the way, Kirko is in the hills of
One up,
Somalia.
baby.
He's in a cave right now in somewhere in Somalia or Saudi Arabia. Yet the American government can't find him. But he's broadcasting somewhere. He's got somebody captive. What do you got a plant now? Now you're frozen. What are you doing?
Listen to those guys. Look,
hey, Shabaka, man, you need to get a new internet. Hey, listen. Hey, as we close, we gotta close the show down, man. So listen, hey, Casey, jump in there, man, and then Sweet Nasty, all right, and then Art, we're gonna have you close it out. So Casey and the Sunshine Band, baby, you got it, man.
Yes, sir. I'll make it quick. And thanks for having me on, guys. This is a great cast of characters on. This is amazing, and this is a tribute to you, Coach Kehoe, of all the people that love you in your life, and you made a huge impact on a lot of people's lives. Just being yourself and being genuine. So you should be congratulated for that. But I want to tell you guys about the best one-on-one rep I've ever seen in football. It started when I got recruited by Ed Ogeron, was the D-line coach at University of Miami. And he said, I can't wait to introduce you to your offensive line coach. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ed Ogeron says, I can't wait to introduce you to your offensive line coach, Art Kehoe. So I get to campus on my trip. Art Kehoe asked me what schools I'm interested in, what trips I'm going to take. And he listens patiently, he nods along. He says, those schools all sound great. If they're worth a shit, we'll schedule them and we'll whoop your ass. How about that? That was his recruiting technique. And it was very effective because come August, I was on board. I signed my letter of intent, came to the University of Miami, went into the unknown. And everything was very different at University of Miami. I mean, it's a very unique experience on so many different levels. But everything is shaped towards getting the most competition out of the individuals on that field. So Green Tree Field, they had the turf there, the 50-yard turf there, where everybody would stretch. It was an odd configuration where they'd have offense on one side and defense on the other, facing each other. And I didn't quite know why until at the end of stretch, Coach Erickson would stand up and he'd call out, Michael Barrow, Mario Cristobal on the line. And those two guys would start the competition for the practice. And it was the one-on-one would take as long as it needed to. This would go on 30, 40, 50 seconds sometimes because these guys would just be basically get into a brawl. And I realized what Coach Kehoe's role was as an offensive line coach and what Ed Ogeron's role as the defensive line coach was
in that camp. And those guys were there just to stir the pot until they built into a lather, a fervor, and guys were, basically fighting each other, trying to fight each other to the point where you had to separate offense on one field and defense on the other side. And it was a big reason was because of Ed Ogeron and the dialogue and the chiding between Ed Ogeron and Art Kehoe. And so come about the second week camp where everybody's lathered up, everybody's ready to eat raw meat. Who does Coach Erickson call up? He calls up Arthur Francis Kehoe, Ed Ogeron on the line. And it was the most perfect thing I've ever seen in my life. Coach Kehoe turned his cap back around. And he's got this smile on his face, this shit-eating grin. He's just ready to rock and roll. Ed Ogeron, he's got the big barrel chest, steps up, and they line up. And what I saw at that moment was magical. It was the very best rep of offensive line play I've ever seen in my life. Kehoe, he gets in his stance like a little ball, right? The flat back. He launches into Ed Ogeron, wraps his hands inside tight, waddles him back about 5 yards, and just dumps him right on the back of his head. And to me, it was the most amazing rep of football I've ever seen. And it was the inspiration that kind of carried me all the way through my career at Miami. But it was, in fact, the thing that I think about Coach Kehoe the most is a guy that he talks the talk, but he walks the walk. And that's the guy you want in your huddle. That's the guy you want on your team. And that's the guy you want in your life for the rest of your life. And that's what we've all found with Coach Kehoe. Is a guy that's willing to fight for us, willing to joke with us and laugh. But when it's time to get down, Coach Kehoe is the guy that's going to get the job done. And I love you, Coach. I remember all the Hall of Fame speeches that I got to listen to when I was at the Hall of Fame. Every single person that was involved in football mentioned your name. It wasn't they didn't talk about their mom first or their dad first or their brother or their friends. They talked about Kehoe and the impact that they made on their lives. And I'm here to say the same thing, Coach. I love you, and you made a huge impact on my life. I'll never forget it. And with all these guys on the call today, I can't help but think about things that we can do in the future, and it wouldn't be involved a Zoom call. I'd like to get back and maybe celebrate Coach Kehoe's next birthday. Next year. I think that would be something fun for all of us to get together and do.
We're here.
But that's the single best one-on-one offensive play I've ever seen in my life, Coach. And that's you, Arthur Francis Kehoe.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
I think we just had a dun-dun-dun moment, right? Like I think ESPN might want to go and get a hold of that.
Man, I love it.
Kelvin, jump in there. We're gonna try you one more time, and then we're gonna go and let Coach take us on out.
All right, can you hear me?
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm in a unique position because all you guys were offensive linemen when you came to UM. I came in as a defensive player, so it was a transition for me. And the first year I was with Coach Kehoe and Coach Wise, and it was unique because first of all I was mad I wasn't with the defense, and then every day Tony Wise is yelling at me, and then Coach Kehoe is calling me Slappy. Matter of fact, I thought that's what my name was for like 2 years, Slappy. And then Coach Johnson leaves, and I end up moving the offensive line, and Coach Kehoe helped me with the transition because it was really difficult. Lining up against Cortez Kennedy and Russell Maryland every day, trying to learn how to play offensive line. You guys don't even know how hard that was. But it was tough for a while. But Coach Kehoe, he kept me going. And when we were seniors, me, Claude, and Leon, he was there for us. We needed him sometimes. Coach Smith was a good coach, but he was different than Coach Wise. And Coach Kehoe, he just kept it. He was the glue because he would always come with a joke just when we needed it, and he was tough on us. He was the mirror dodge king, like Matt said, and he just made us work hard. And that senior year, it all came together. I think the best team in the history of the University of Miami because of him. I just thank Coach. I'm glad that you're healthy. I was worried about you, but I know you're gonna be all right. I feel better, but I can't tell you how much you helped me out. Because when I first started playing that position, I was lost. And Claude and Leon, they were veterans. They helped me out. But you took time with me. Helped me with work after practice, helped me with technique, and I wouldn't have had the career. I was a journeyman, but I wouldn't have had that without you. And I want to thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kelvin.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead and close us out, Coach Kehoe.
Well, the first thing I have to say, obviously, is thank you, because so many of these guys, they mean everything to me, man. It tells you about football, and it tells you about Miami, and it tells you about some of the things we went through, and whether it's Tom Jones or Joaquin or Leon or any of them, everybody in that place means something to me, and I love you, and I thank you so much for this, and this was truly a tribute, and I don't know what to say. Let me just say this: when I came to Miami, I thought I knew when I became a coach, I thought I knew a little bit about football. But then I got around Tony Wise, and I really learned the game of football. I learned in particularly in the offensive line with technique and with everything he can do, and I really had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun from learning from him, and because I said, wow, that's the way I wanted to play, the way he was teaching, the technique he was using, and I had fun teaching it, and I was fortunate to have a lot of good players, and we were on some good teams, and I owe you guys everything, and I love you, and thank you very much. Thank you for everything tonight. It was awesome.
Love you, Coach.
God bless you, Art.
Man, well,
love you, baby.
Love you, Coach.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kehoe. Thank you, Greg Riccozzi.
Man, we really appreciate each and every one of y'all coming on the show tonight, man. It was an awesome pleasure. You guys are fools, man, but we see why the you is you when you bring groups like this together, and they're just, it's like you guys just got out of practice a day ago. So this is awesome, man. We gonna go ahead and end the show. Y'all gonna try to have us on here all night. We ain't gonna let that happen. From Caleb.
Hey, Greg, good to see you. Take
From
care.
Caleb,
One.
MB, man.
Leon, good to see you.
Baseline.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Coach.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate you guys.
Take care.
I can make a shot when I'm in the dark. I can grab a baseball and hit the ball right out the park. I'm a crazy different athlete, and I can really got talent. Basketball and baseball, two different sports, and I can still balance. Can't forget that football, cause that's really my real passion.
Taliban.
That big field, and you gonna see my real talent. Sideline and baseline, you know we stay on our grind. Sideline and baseline, I'ma shoot my shot, I'ma make mine. Sideline and baseline, take it back from the goal line. Sideline and baseline, I'ma shoot my shot, I'ma make mine. Sideline and baseline.